Release practice number 5. The area of a trapezoid is found using the formula area equals half of the height times base 1 plus base 2, where A is the area, H is the height, and B1 and B2 are the lengths of the bases. What is the area of the above trapezoid? So obviously we're trying to find the area, so we're going to use our formula. 1/2 times the height times B1 plus B2. And we're going to just substitute in the information that we know. We don't know the area. We do know the height is 4. And we do know that B1 is x minus 3 and B2 is x plus 7. So first thing I can do is half times 4, or 0.5 times 4, is essentially the same thing as dividing by 2. So I'm going to have a 2 out front because 4 times 1/2 is 2. Combine my like terms here. I have x plus x, which gives me 2x, and I have a negative 3 combined with a positive 7, which gives me positive 4. And then last but not least, I'll need to distribute. So 2 times 2x is 4x, and 2 times 4 is 8. And I can look for my answer choice, which is B. Number 2, Lucy and Barbara began saving money the same week. The table below shows the models for the amount of money Lucy and Barbara had saved after X amount of weeks. Here's Lucy's, and here's Barbara's. After how many weeks will Lucy and Barbara have the same amount of money saved? So when we see this word same, we want to know when they are equal. So we're going to figure out when Lucy, who can be represented by 10x plus 5, will be the same as Barbara, which is 7.5x plus 25. So I need to figure out what x is because I need to figure out how many weeks. So I'm going to subtract 7.5x from both sides, and 10 minus 7.5 is 2.5x, and I'm going to carry everything else down. Trying to get x by itself, so I need to subtract 5 from both sides. And then last but not least, divide by 2.5. And 20 divided by 2.5. We could do that by hand, but fortunately we have a calculator, and that is going to give us 8. It will be after 8 weeks. They'll be the same. Number 3. Colin noticed that various combinations of nickels and dimes could add up to 65 cents. X is the number of nickels and Y is the number of dimes. What is the domain where Y is a function of X and the total value is 65? Remember that domain is the X's and the range is the Y's. So we're trying to figure out what options of nickels do I have to create 65 cents. So I know that I want to have an odd number of nickels so that I can have, and I have to have at least 1 nickel, so I can't have 0 nickels. And I definitely, like I said, want to have the odd numbers because if I had 2 nickels, it would create 10 cents, so I would never end up with 5 cents. So the most appropriate domain is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Because we want an odd number of nickels to create 65 cents. Number 4, the table below shows a cost of pizza based on the number of toppings. Number of toppings and the cost. Which function represents the cost of a pizza with n toppings? So looks like here we're going to write an equation, and in order to write an equation we need to know the slope and the y-intercept. So the change in my y's divided by the change in my x's is going to help me find my slope. So it looks like here it's going up $1.50 each time, and it's going up by 1 topping every time. So this tells me that it is $1.50 per topping. And I need to figure out, if I got 0 toppings, how much would my pizza cost? So I'm going to end up taking off $1.50. So I know that my pizza would end up costing me less than $12. So our equation that we want to write would be $1.50 for every pizza. And then we know that we're going to have a y-intercept, which is going to be 12 minus 150. And so that will be $10.50 for a pizza with no toppings. I don't see that equation written down here. I know that it's not going to be $12 per topping. And I know that it's not going to be $12 plus $1 per topping. And here this has my correct slope, but says that the pizza starts at $12. So I'm looking at A, which kind of doesn't look correct. However, if I distributed and distributed again, I'm going to have a minus 1.5. So I'll get 12 plus 1.5n minus 1.5. And so what that's going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to find our y-intercept once we combine our like terms, so that it will look like the equation that we know that we wrote about the pizzas. So answer choice A is the most correct. The sequence below shows the number of days Francisco had used his gym membership at the end of weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. Assuming that the pattern continues, which function could be used to find the number of days, the total number of days, that Francisco had used his gym membership at the end of week N? So the pattern that we have here looks like it's adding 5 every time. Okay, so I can be looking here for an equation which shows adding 5 every time, and starting, I'm going to have to go back. So I'm going to minus 5. 1 minus 5 is negative 1, because that's going to be my y-intercept. So I need to have one that starts at negative 1, which it looks like it's B, and we're adding 5 every single time. So B is our correct answer for that.